Us this morning. It's KOKOLIRIKO Live. My name is Denis Oringi, and we're coming to you live from the broadcast house of Westnile Television here on plot 39 Hayweather at Park Lane. It is a very fresh morning, and today happened to be Wednesday, and it is 2nd of August 2023, and so we are moving on, second day of August, and so you have to know that we are counting down to the end of the year 2023, and then we get onto another year 2024. So we always pray to Almighty God for His protection and also His guidance as we move on with life. Life is a little bit tricky because the fact is we are born and we shall die, and so we cannot run away from those facts. And so when you're still alive, you should be able to do the right thing at the right time, always. And the most important thing is to look at your colleague, look at your friend, look at your neighbor, look at your child, look at your father, look at your mother as human being like you. And so the treatment that you give unto the other one should be the same treatment that you give also to the other one. And so we are just living in a world where we have to do what it takes us to do, but the most important thing, we are not supposed to get into conflict with one another. The world is like this because of the enmity that has been created and the wars that have really affected this world, and that is why we are like this. I always imagine if we never had war at a certain point in time, we would not be like this, and the world will not just be in this state of confusion that we're in. And so that is the most important thing that allow me to tell you this morning, that we are living a life that is determined by the Creator, the person who has created us, and so we need to always pray to Him that continue giving us another moment in life. And we pray for those departed souls who have really left us, and so we pray that wherever they are, may they find comfort and they find eternal rest. And as we also continue to intercede for them, let them also intercede for us, more especially those that have been accorded a paradise. And so we shall also be able to meet them one time, and that is what I will say this morning. And while for those who are not feeling well this morning, you are in your sick bed, I pray that may the Almighty touch you and you leave that sick bed and you continue struggling with life. Life is all about struggle, if you do not know. And so there's no comfort in life. It's all about struggle. Once you have struggled successfully, yes, you celebrate and you smile. If you have not struggled successfully, sometimes you have it in your heart that will I be able to get what to eat maybe at the end of the day? And so this is the struggle that we are in. Each and every time we wake up and we see the sun rising and also the sun setting, and also you have to get in your bed and you sleep overnight and you wait also for another day to come. And so during the course of the day, you have to struggle to get something that you have to put on table for you yourself and also for your family members. And that is the circle that we cannot end it. The end of the circle becomes when you are already dead. And so that is the fact of life that you need to know. And so we continue to live a life here on this earth, and my name is Denis Oringi, and I continue to give you information that you need to know as you continue living your life. It is important that you should be able to know what is happening in your society, what is not really going right. And so these are some of the things that you will be letting I will be letting you know right there this morning for you. And so dear viewer, you have to know that issues to do with the construction of that is a Manibe Yumbe Road. The progress is moving on well. The other time, the Yumbe District local government was able to inform those that have been compensated already to pave way for the clearance of the road. And you have to know that the road is being financed by the Japan, that is JICA. The money was given to the government of the Republic of Uganda, and this money is supposed to be used for working on this road, Manibe Yumbe Road, because Yumbe District is also one of the refugee hosting districts that we have in Western region. And so JICA felt it important, the Japanese government felt it important to really support this particular district, Yumbe and Terego, by really working on the road that is connecting the two districts. And so those that have been compensated already have been told to pay pave way so that the construction can really begin. Meanwhile, for those who have not been compensated, they can really, go to the community development officers of Terego and of Yumbe district to have their issues resolved, and that is something good for us, the community. And also, remember, Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road is also supposed to be tarmacked. The money is supposed to come from World Bank. I think the feasibility study was done, and the issues to do with compensation was ongoing. Only that some few families did not really accept the compensation rate that was communicated. And so I believe that there are engagements that are going on to say that the people who have been affected and they are supposed to be compensated, they are really compensated. And this is something that we need to embrace. As the local community, we have been crying for the road to be tarmacked. Once now the government of the Republic of Uganda has secured funding from World Bank, we need to really cooperate with the government of the Republic of Uganda to see that the road is tarmacked, because that has been our cry. And don't really begin blaming government when it comes to 2026 campaigns, when somebody will be making promises that the road will be tarmac, and then you will be saying that you have been communicating this for many years, but nothing has been done. But remember, you are also one of those that are frustrating such kind of project that government of the Republic of Uganda wants to undertake. And this is something that you need to know right there for you. And so once they have really given you the compensation rate, try to have a negotiation so that you really pick up the compensation, so that the road is really given for tarmacking, and that is something that you need to know. Currently, as we do talk, we are already in the month of August, and it is going to start raining seriously. And you know very well that the road from Koboko to Yumbe and up to Moyo, sometimes when it rains, it become lakes. As President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said the other time when he went to Nakaseke, he found the road was worked on, and he says that who is constructing the swimming pool right there? You are constructing roads without Mferezi. So what does it mean if you construct roads without Mferezi? I've seen this with also Arua City Authority in the ongoing maintenance of the roads that we do have, where the roads are just being maintained without opening the Mferezi to allow, that is the water to really flow off the road. And so we need to really coordinate with the government and cooperate with the government whenever government wants to undertake projects in our areas. But we can also not leave the other aspect of the accountability. We need to make sure that we continue asking the accountability question so that proper work is done. I have to tell you that the road that is from Pakwash to Alui was rehabilitated, and currently we are seeing the rehabilitation of the road from Alui to Nebi, but we have never had the rehabilitation of road from that is Nebi to Arua, apart from filling potholes that are not so deadly than what we used to have between Alui and Nebi, and yet the same contractor was the one who worked on this particular road. And this comes back to the issue of supervision and monitoring of the road work that is being undertaken in our area. So how do we participate in monitoring and supervising the projects that are being undertaken in our area? I've seen the road from that is Alui to Nebi. Currently, I love the contractor is trying to speed up with the construction of with the rehabilitation of the road. However, the issue of the dust seems to be a very big issue that is affecting the community who are really living along this particular road from Nebi to Alui. And I pray that they really work on the road very fast and they finish so that people can now get relieved from the dust being generated from the construction work that is currently ongoing. I've been told that the road from Nebi to Arua City will also be rehabilitated, but currently what is taking place is filling the potholes that have been created on this particular tarmac road. They have now reached around Ofaka, around Olepi, and so that is good news for the people who always use this particular road, Pakwash Highway. And so we continue to implore government of the Republic of Uganda to work on these roads. We have, that is a Doka bridge that was given to the contractor. It is quite unfortunate that the contractor only went to the site after hearing that the executive director of Uganda National Road Authority, Ms. Ellen Kajina, was coming to Westnile sub-region. I can remember vividly when we reached that particular spot of the bridge during the visit of the Uganda National Road Authority Executive Director Ellen Kajina when she was touring West Nile region. We reached there by around 7 p.m. and we found the contractor was still at site. But right now, as I talk, the contractor abandoned the site, and we do not know what exactly has happened because we are already in another financial year. What exactly happened to the contractor? Is it about financing the contractor by UNRWA? We need to ask these questions. Adoka Bridge has also to be constructed to the bitumen standard like the Wanriki Bridge that is in Vora Sub-County. That is in Logiri Sub-County, in Arua District. And so that is something that I wanted to bring to your attention. Remember, government of the Republic of Uganda has been really committing itself to tarmacking the road from Nebi, which is around 120 kilometers up to Vora, custom here. But according to the communication that we got from the Uganda National Road Authority Executive Director, Ms. Ellen Kajina, when she visited West Nile, she did say that they will start. They are going to start by working on the bridges that are on this particular road. Then after that, tarmacking will become a little bit very easy, because they say that when it comes to road construction, construction of bridges cost a lot of money compared to beautifying the road to the bitumen standard. And then if we are going to work on these bridges, why do we abandon the construction site, as it has been the case with Adoka Bridge, that that is the border of Arua district with the Zombo district, and so that particular bridge has already been given to a contractor, and the contractor reported to the site. But unfortunately, I think sometimes back when I went to that area, I did not really get the contractor on site, and there was no work going on, and the work that was done was that time when the executive director UNRWA visited West Nile Sub-Region. So our local leaders, right from the LC system up to the national leaders, the members of parliament, the ministers that we have from this region, we need to continue tasking these people to really do the work. If it's about money, let's follow up what has happened. If a contract has already been given to a contractor, why should a contractor be able to abandon the site? I believe that all the necessary documents have already been signed, and so there's no contractor who really signed a document and government fails to commit itself to fulfilling the commitment that has been put in black and white. And so there are projects that have been abandoned, the sites have been abandoned. I know the Dr. project in different districts that are hosting refugees, and we need to continue asking this question: what has really happened to the money, and what has happened to the contractor or the contractors who have been given contract work to work on some of the projects that are being undertaken. I know of the USMID additional financing and also Dr. projects that are being undertaken in different refugee hosting districts, and the projects have stalled, and you find that the contractor is not at the site. The workers are not at the site, and what has exactly happened? And so we need to continue asking these questions. These are accountability questions that need to be asked always to see that works are properly done in our society. And so I felt it important that I should be able to bring to your attention this. I am good at following those stalled projects that we have in West Nile Sub-Region, and allow me to bring to your attention that Arua City received what we call the 2.5 billion, that is a value addition facility here in the Central Division at Windri Ward. But since the value addition facility was commissioned by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in 2020 towards the 2021 election, let me tell you, up to now, not even a single grain has been grinded or has been milled at this particular value addition facility. And this brings me to the question of priority. Do we know what our priorities are when we want something from government of the Republic of Uganda? These are questions that we shall continue to ask. And remember, this particular project was constructed under MATIF, which was financed by the African Development Bank. And right now, as I do talk, there is a multi-billion project that is lying idle in Arua City right here. And when we look at our farmers that we have in West Nile Sub-Region, I don't think we have serious commercial farmers in West Nile Sub-Region, apart from those maybe who are working in government, and they tend to use some of the money that they do get to really open up their farm. The other time when President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was coming to West Nile Sub-Region, it became a very big task to identify the model farmers. And let me tell you, the model farmers who were identified are these well-to-do farmers. Let me tell you this: they are not these farmers who started from zero, and they have really rose to that particular, status that they were considered to be the model farmers that we have in Western Sub-region. These are people who are doing well. They started doing well even before the issue of farming, before the issue of, the model farming came. They were working with the government. Some of them continue to work with the government, and they get some money from the government, but not this farmer who started way back and has been able to really improve, in terms of his, farming. When it comes to identification of the farmers who are supposed to be visited by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, it was a very big task. And are you aware that Arua district never received the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in terms of him visiting a model farmer? President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni visited a farm belonging to the chief government valuer in Nebi, and then he was able to visit a farm belonging to one of the business person that we have here in Arua City, but he bought land, that side of Madi, Okolo, the one of Arua district, Arua City, the other side of the border between Terego and Arua City. Also is one person who has been doing well. And so the real model farmers that who have been benefiting from the Operation Well Creation, the NADS, and also other projects of the government, let me tell you, has never been visited. And so I don't know when President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will be coming again to the region to talk about wealth creation, but we need now to begin cleaning our house and also sitting down to evaluate ourselves. Operation Well Creation has been in existence for over 10 years. What do we have to really, account for in regards to the seedlings and the inputs that the Operation Well Creation distributed to us, but procured by NADS and being supervised by the coordinators that we do have? And so these are questions that we should be able to ask. And according to Operation Well Creation, chief coordinator, he did say that currently under Operation Well Creation, they should be now talking about the value addition. And he wants to know how many farmers are now into value addition and wants value addition facility, because he was able now to properly use the inputs that were distributed under Operation Well Creation. And so if Operation Well Creation currently is talking about the value addition, then we should really be able to look at the number of farmers who were able to receive the input under Operation Well Creation, whether they do have the mangoes that were given to them as seedlings, and the mangoes have now grown and are now harvesting the mangoes, and now they need factory. This reminds me of that is a Yumbe fruit factory that we do have. How much tons of fruit is this factory producing year in, year out? These are also another accountability questions that we should continue to ask, because we have already a factory established in Yube district, and its operationalization seems not to be doing well, because mangoes in our region is seasonal, and so in a season where there's mangoes, the factory can really work, but in a season where we don't have mangoes, this is a very big setback for that particular factory. And so the other time during the meeting that was held at Gulu University Library, where leaders from Westnile Sub-region and Asholi Sub-region, they were able to meet with the Operation Well Creation chief. There were a number of issues that were discussed, and the leaders were tasked to come out with value addition facilities and storage facilities that they do have in their districts. And I have been told that Arua district has got around 24 storage facilities, and the question that remains unanswered, whether these facilities are really operational or not. These are some of the things that we journalists, we need to now to engage ourselves in to find out more about these storage facilities. There are storage facilities that have been really constructed by civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations in our districts, more especially in the district hosting refugees. Do these facilities operate? These are questions that we continue to ask, and we challenge those leaders to always make follow-up and come out with the reasons why these facilities are not really operating. And so these are some of the quick highlights I wanted to bring to your attention from different districts that we have in Western Sub-region. As a region, we are blessed, but issues to do with cooperation, coordination, unity seems not to be working well between the Wananchi and those in authority, more especially those who are holding public offices, the political offices, the technical offices that we have in these districts. The technical people seems to be comfortable in their sitting rooms those in their offices not getting out to the wananchi and educating them and talk to them on how they can really get out of poverty. Indeed, it is easy to get out of poverty if people speak the same language, if we cooperate, if we are united, and if we have teamwork. There are three things in an organization. When these three things are not working out, whether you have billions of money and you have set up an organization, and if unity, cooperation, and teamwork is not being vividly witnessed in that organization, trust me, the issues to do with the progress of the organization, the issues to do with the progress of the district, progress of the city will not move in. Because where there is no unity, there's nothing like cooperation and there's nothing like teamwork. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break. It's exactly 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. It is KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television, and I'm here to break some of the unbreakable yokes of mental disorder that some people do have, and they think they can really move on with life without understanding what we have in life. Life is around three things, and I still repeat: cooperation, unity, and teamwork. And that is all about life. In your family, if you're not united with your wife and your children, you will never progress. And if you don't cooperate with your wife and your children, you will never progress. And if you don't do things together, that spirit of teamwork, you will never progress as a family. Let's go for a break. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTimes Inside Technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. With StarTimes Inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
My name is Denis Oringi, and it's KOKOLIRIKO Live, where we give you information and also, try to give you a bit of some facts when it comes to life. And we cannot run away from those facts. And allow me to dive into what we have in the dailies this morning, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. What are some of the stories that are making headlines in our country, Uganda? We have mob kills a suspected motorcycle thief in Chibuku. This is also another sad story that is coming through from Chibuku. And this has been a trend in our country, Uganda, mob taking action on those that are trying to frustrate others. It is not easy to really acquire some of the assets that you see people are having. So if you want to behave the other way of stealing, let me tell you, people will not really leave you. But it is not a good thing that we should really be behaving like that. It is good to teach somebody lessons so that the person is able to live again, to feel the outcome of his action. And so it's important either you teach this person a bit and let the person be able to live, to feel what he was able to do, and he will be able to realize that what he did was wrong. Much as they also tend to say that, yeah, somebody can also feel it when the person is already dead. But killing a person is not a good thing that we should do. And I don't really buy that. Because if you are also killed the way you have killed the other person, I do not know how you will also feel. So as human beings, we should really coexist and we should really continue to live together. We have the laws in this country, and let us not take the law into our hands. Let us use the available avenues. Sometimes, yes, we are angered because we tend to report some of these cases, and we are being frustrated by those that are entrusted with ensuring that the laws in this country are properly followed. You register your cases at police, and you find that investigations are not done. The person that you have really reported, you reported to police, the person might be having money and he goes behind. With this evolution of the the mobile money, the person just wired the investigator who is handling your case, and you see your case just disappearing and the files disappearing. And I always challenge this thing of the file of so-and-so has disappeared. This is total nonsense, because you cannot say that a file has disappeared. How? Then the person who has been in charge of the file has to be arrested and prosecuted. Because you cannot tell us that the file got lost. I'm speaking this because it happened to me. I registered the case at the police, and they told me that my file got lost. And I asked, where did the file go? And we were really recording statements here together with you, and the file number is this. And tell me where the file has gone. Unless you are telling me that you're not interested in handling my case, and somebody has given you some amount of money. And so, members of the public, whoever tells you that your file has gotten lost, handle that person who has told you that your file has gotten lost properly. And you can register a case against that police officer. For instance, we have the PSEU unit, that is the unit that is charged with the discipline, the professional standard unit of the police. That unit is meant to handle errant police officers who are not doing their work diligently and are not doing their work according to what they are supposed to do. And so if a police officer ask for money from you, you can report that police officer to the professional standard unit of police. And we do have them at the regional level. Here in Arua City, I am happy that we do have the professional standard unit of police that is meant to handle cases against police officers who are not doing their work diligently, those who are found of extorting money, asking for bribe, and trying to tell you that your file has disappeared. And so make sure that you report that police officer who has told you that your file has disappeared. And we have seen this also very common with the DPP and together with the state attorney offices that we do have. And so whoever tells you that your file is lost, then that person either received the money from somebody who you have registered a case against that particular person. And there are people who use their money to frustrate cases. Sometimes the cases don't even go to the magistrate chamber for hearing, and you see either somebody arrested from his home, taken direct to prison. This person has never made any statement. Now, if a person has been arrested and taken direct to prison, how will this case be handled at the magistrate chamber? These are questions that we should continue to ask. And I implore the members of the public, let's get interested in understanding how systems in this country are being run. You understand? It is sometimes us who are really leaving these systems to be rotten, as it is being acclaimed by those haters of the government. Government has proper system, and I love government for that. The systems are very clear. But there are some individuals who are taking advantage of the ignorance of the people, and they want to make life simple for them, extorting money from these wananchi who are supposed to be supported and helped. And so, dear members of the public, dear viewer, once you have been arrested, you have a right to make statement, and you have a right to be given bond, and also you have a right to be given bail. But your bail is determined by the magistrate handling your case. It's determined by court. And so when it comes to police bond, you have your right to apply for police bond. We have seen people, kept at the police cells for over 2 weeks. This person is still at the police cell. What is it about? 48 hours according to the law of this country, and according to you get the Human Rights Commission. 48 hours. These are the hours that you are supposed to be kept in a police custody. And keeping you in the police custody does not mean that you are a criminal. You are still a suspect. You understand? And nobody is supposed to call you criminal when you are still at the police cell. You are just a suspect. It will be until proven guilty. And it is supposed to be proven guilty or innocent by the competent court of this country. Competent court. Even police cannot say that you are innocent, because that is not their role. You understand? The police is to ensure that there is law and order. And so if you have problem, and some people are really, after your life, you have a right to go to police and report. If somebody has sent for you threatening messages, you have a right to go to police, because there is supposed to be that order and law properly kept. Keeping law and order, and that is the prime role of police. And so you should not get to negotiation with the police and say, I'm going to give you 100,000, and let me come out. No. Stay in that cell for 48 hours. After 48 hours, you have a right to apply for police bond, and it should be given, because we believe that after 48 hours, the investigator has not yet concluded investigating your case. And that means that the person has to do investigation seriously and have evidence to pin you. And this file is forwarded to the DPP, and also the state attorney to peruse through the file. And it is the recommendation of the state attorney whether he or she has found enough evidence to pin you, and he forwards the case to the magistrate courts of this country. It depends on the crimes that you have committed. There are criminal cases, there are civil cases. We need to understand this clearly. When I have borrowed, maybe for instance, I have borrowed Dromadary's money and I failed to pay, that is not criminal. You understand? That is civil. And we shall be able to have some of the lawyers interpreting for you this. But this is what I'm telling to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my ability that I've understood and I've read, because I read English and understand, and this is what I can really tell you. So these are things that we should be able to empower our community. It's quite unfortunate that when people who have goodwill for the people begin to tell people this, they tend to mark such people wrong elements in the society, trying to incite. This is not inciting, this is telling people what we have in the book of law of this country. And so the problem we have in this country is that we have proper constitution, but the constitution is only being understood by those who went to school. I mean, what about those who went to the school? Do they understand the constitution? Do they understand the Penal Code Act that is always being used by the police to determine the case, the charges that they are supposed to write on the charge sheets? How many people have the copies of the Penal Code Act that is being used by the police to determine the charge, the charges that are supposed to be levied on the people who are being arrested, whether criminal or civil? We need to distribute, we need to disseminate these books properly to the members of the public so that they get to understand the laws of this country. I am happy, as a country, we are a heterogeneous nation. We have different tribes. Tell me how many tribes have got translated version of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda? How many tribes that we have in this country have got translated versions of the Penal Code Act? How many tribes we have in this country have got the translated version of the Land Act of this country? It's only that surely because I came across that book. Surely Chiefdom has got that. And thanks to those who thought of their people who never went to school. And that is how we should be thinking. And so if we continue to have a country where people, majority of the population does not understand the laws in this country, because they always say, ignorance of the law has no defense. There's no way they are going to tell a magistrate that I don't know about this, or I didn't know about this. They will tell you ignorance of the law has no defense. And so for how long shall we continue to pretend that all is well, yet all is not yet well? And so for me, if somebody is ready to partner with me to translate the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda in Alur, I will offer my service. Because I don't want my people always to be referred to be ignorant people of the law. They don't understand the law. They went to school, they went to the school, but at least they were able to understand, to read their local languages, and they're able to write their local languages. Go to the churches every Sunday, they read Bibles in local languages, and people are able to understand. Why can't we also have the law of this country in local languages so that we have people understand? And those who are being paid by government of the Republic of Uganda to do this job, they are able to read in local languages and they are able to understand. It's quite unfortunate that those who are graduating from different universities we have in this country don't even know how to translate their own mother language. They cannot even read their own local language. And that is quite unfortunate. And that's where the issue of the education that we receive, what is it about? So if we have graduates who cannot even read and translate things in their mother, tongue, then it is a little bit quite unfortunate. Because education should start from you understanding and reading and writing your local language. And that's why in English there are aspects that are being taught. This aspect of listening, this aspect of speaking, this aspect of reading. And so when you don't know how to read, how are you going to write? And so when you don't know how to read, you will not be able to write. If you don't know how to write, it will be hard for you to read. And that is why if you are teaching, you should be able to handle all these aspects of reading, listening, writing. They are very important. And that's why one of the aspects is not being taught in Uganda. That is the aspect of listening in English subject. A teacher is supposed to go with the recorded plays, or maybe conversation, and then plays for the students, and then the students are supposed to pay keen attention, listen, and then you put it off, and then you tell the students, please, can you summarize what you were able to listen? The reason why we have people who talk a lot and they listen less is simply because they were not taught that aspect of listening when they were in school. And that is very important. And so, for government of the Republic of Uganda to have people who understand the law of this country, the law books of this country, the law books should be translated in the local languages that are being spoken in this country. And then after that, then let's get to understand what could be now the problem. And then it's quite unfortunate that we tend to speak in English all the time in gatherings. We forget that the majority of the people who have come to listen to us don't understand the English language you are speaking. Only few, your OBs and OGs and your workmates who are present during the function that you have organized, or maybe you're a guest of honor, or maybe you are the chief guest. Only those that understand what you're talking about. Of ours. Yes, there are some people who have their grandmothers who went to school because maybe where they were living by that time, they were a little bit well off and they were close to the church because the missionary used their land to spread the gospel, and they might have learned some little English from the missionary. Now what about those that the missionaries and the explorers never reached their areas and they never got time even to go to classroom? We should be thinking about this as we discuss issues to do with development. Because development has to be holistic. It should not leave somebody out. It has to be inclusive. We should not leave also the disabled, persons with disability. I've been told they are not disabled people, they are persons with disability. Do we cater for them as well? So if we only cater for those who are well off, well-to-do, they are from well-to-do families, and we tend to ignore those who are not from well-to-do families in implementing the laws of this country, this is quite a little bit very challenging. And this is a challenge that I put this morning right there for you. Okay. All right, dear viewer, you have to know that a total forum Change leaders arrested. This is another big story that has featured in the Daily Monitor this morning. And so why have they been arrested? Police in Tororo district arrested 2 village leaders of Forum for Democratic Change party for allegedly holding illegal political meeting on August the 1st yesterday. Those arrested are Simon Peter Osho, the chairperson of Magoro Ward in Kit Town Council, and Vincent Oita, the chair police post, where they were detained for 6 hours before releasing them on charges of threatening violence. And this is what you need to know. Confirmed the arrest but declined to divulge details. After their release, the accused leaders said in organization only be left to those in government. I thought if members of the opposition are also mobilized to events, it's together, as I did mention earlier, cooperation, unity, and talk about development. And so to cooperate properly. And there you see a society developing. The developed countries that we always celebrate and we go to ask them for aid, there's unity. There's that element of unity that you can even vividly, see. There's that element of teamwork that you really see from that developed country. And the issue of cooperation, you will even vividly see from those developed countries. Go to a society where people are progressing. You will be able to attest to the fact that there's unity in that society, there's teamwork in that society, and there's cooperation in that society. And so, yes, it is important that government should also be able to unite in fighting poverty together with the opposition. And we have seen members of the opposition, some of them have bought the idea of wealth creation, and they have been having the same talks with those in government. And that is the way to go. We need to coexist. We need to continue, preaching the same language so that we have our people empowered. I don't enjoy people languishing in poverty, because it is always the case that those who have money will tend to use those who don't have money to achieve, in getting what they want in future. And so it's important that we should also be able to uplift those that are in the poverty line, to get out of poverty, so that they can really have the comparative advantage with the rich. They can easily say, I think I have also this. If you have this, I also have this. When you're contributing maybe for functions and for funerals, for parties, when a rich person has given 20,000, at least a poor person should be able to give 10,000. At least there, the comparison is there. Have you ever participated in an organization where those who have contributed money are only the rich people, and the poor never contributed? And the poor people, their work is on to wait and eat what the rich has contributed. And when we still have such kind of society, let me tell you, then we are doomed to die as a society. That is what it is important that they should be able to bring to your attention. 100 arrested after theft of phone from a Senegalese in Kampala. This is another thing. Stories of arrest, mob is taking Uganda to a different level. Why always we have arrest? Have we ever really asked ourselves? And the majority are really young men. And this comes back to the aspect of empowering young boys, the boy child that we do have. It is important that we should be able to continue to empower this boy child, and so that the issue of the arrest, as I did mention on Monday, that you go to the different remand homes that we do have in Uganda, majority of those that are remanded at this remand home are young boys. Girls around 3, 4, their number cannot exceed 5, around 3, 4. Then we need to think outside the box. We need to think outside the box to get to understand why is it boys are always being arrested, not girls. We need to design projects, programs specifically for boy child that we have in this country, Uganda. so that when we shall be waking up, we shall not be getting this news of mob, we shall not be getting this news of arrest, we shall not get this news of stealing and other things. Woman accused of swindling 49 million from online lending firm. You see, women are only being accused of swindling money. They're just being accused. They don't steal, they are just accused of. So that is what you need to know. And so we need affirmative action for boy child that we have in this country. And some of us, we can offer the expertise in how, in seeing how we can really engage the boy child that we do have. Teachers might not be able to do enough because majority of this boy child, they are in schools, and teachers might be concentrating in teaching science, social studies, mathematics, English, and they might not really handle the other aspect of, the aspect of life skills. It's important that as we teach these learners English, we teach these learners social studies and mathematics, we should not forget, as a teacher, spare 10 minutes of your 40 minutes for a single lesson that you have gone to teach, to talk about lifestyle and life skills. You will add value to what you have taught these children of. And so that is what I can really tell you as a teacher. Don't concentrate only on your lesson plan and the scheme of work that you have done. Give your 10 minutes to talk about lifestyles and life skills so that these young ones can be empowered, so that these young ones are able to understand what life is about, so that the cases of arrest each and every time can also reduce. Because when we talk to these young ones, they will be able to understand what it means to live a life on this earth and to live a life in this country called Uganda. Israeli man who confessed to killing his wife remanded is also another big story that has featured in the Daily Monitor this morning. And then also a good one for the East African community. South Sudan moves to join East African community public procurement system is another thing that you need to know right there. The South Sudan Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority says its board members are currently visiting their counterparts in the East African community to benchmark on their procurement systems. Speaking during a visit to the PPDA offices in Kampala yesterday, Deng Akui Kak, the executive director PPDA, said they seek to understand the procurement system used by their peers before they can join the East African public procurement system. Deng explained that when the East African community member states made the laws, South Sudan was not part of the process, but now they have come here to complete the process, study the documents and see how the systems run before they can establish their own. According to Benson Turiamie, the executive director of Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority Uganda, they shared with their South Sudan counterparts the procurement reforms that they have implemented since 2003. This is something that you need to know. I think it's a very good news that South Sudanese PPDA are trying to benchmark and see how they can really be part of the procurement system that is being used in the East African community, which is a very good one. It's good that the East African community countries are trying to understand the importance of belonging to the community. There are advantages that come with belonging to a community, and this is good news. And I believe that this benchmarking is not only to come and see Kampala, but also to go and implement back home in the capital, Juba, right there for you. All right. Lawyer queries a court over 3 missing Kawesi murder is also another big story that was featured in the Daily Monitor. And then more boys sexually abused, says new report. This is something that also you need to know. The reports have also, the reports that have been released have only been focusing on girls being, sexually abused, boys not being mentioned. But it's good that some civil society organizations are interested in also understanding what the boys go through in life. And so there's an increase in the number of domestic and sexual violence cases committed against boys in alternative care between the ages of 12 to 17 years. A report released in Kampala last week shows. The report by CSO's Children's Villages titled A Situational Analysis of Children in Alternative Care in Uganda captured experiences among children abused within the last 12 months. 64% of the boys reported beating and slapping as opposed to the 3.6% of the girls. whereas 2.1% of the boys, as opposed to 1.4% of the girls, were made to do some work that inflicts pain on the child. The report reads in part, data collected from about 119 children under different alternative care settings, family-based care, District of Kasese, Kabale, Moroto, Kampala, Mashindi Division, Mbale, and Jinja showed a hike in numbers of males experiencing all forms of violence. The findings also recorded a need for increased sensitivity to experiences of sexual violence by the male children. 1.9% of males shared experiences of sexual violence in being talked into sex and forced into having sex, as opposed to 1.5% of the females. 3.8% of the boys received marriage proposals compared to 1.5% of the girls. And so, Vion Turiambuhaiwe, a youth advocate at Rising Teenagers, has stressed the need to strengthen systems around the attention and advocacy for the boy child the same way it has been given to girls because of their vulnerability. This is something that you need to know. And the research, while reacting to the study, Adisu Hosanna, the country director of SOS Children Villages, commended the report for resonating with the goal of increasing institutionalized care is what you need to know right there. And so you should really have it at the back of your mind, not only the females who are being really sexually, abused, boys are also being sexually abused. Only that, boys are a little bit strong-hearted and they cannot report anyhow. And so I implore the viewers, please try to talk to your boys, your young boys that you do have. They might have stories for you. They might report some cases that you have never heard of. When it comes to reporting, we have seen girls rushing to report when these cases, in which it is also a very bad thing in our society. Let us encourage. Let's go. A very good morning to you. My name is Denis Oringi. It is 29 minutes to the top of the hour over 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A brand new Global Star TV with StarTime's inside technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. With StarTime's inside Global Star TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update, more benefits, more affordable. StarTime's inside Global Star TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Thank you very much. You have to know that 26 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's dive into what we have in the new vision today. You have to know that Netball World Cup, Uganda to face Wales on Wednesday today. This is another good news for us. The two nations meet after losing their first matches in Group G. Uganda lost to Jamaica 61 to 49, whereas Wales lost to New Zealand on that is 83 to 34 is what you need to know. All right, talking about the betting centers that we have in our country, Uganda, members of parliament raised red flag over unsatisfied betting centers. How many betting centers have been satisfied here in our country, Uganda? This was another question that I will really ask this morning, together with the same question being asked by the members of parliament, is what you need to know. Nakawa West member of parliament, Joel Senyonyi, who is the chairperson of the committee, said the gaming business is operating to the detriment of especially the young people. As I mentioned on Monday, come to a rural city, go to different betting centers that we do have. Right now, as I talk at exactly 9 a.m., you'll find, over 50 young people just seated in these betting centers, just watching, virtual games that are being played, from these betting centers, instead of doing productive work. This is another challenging thing. I challenge the leaders that we have in a rural city. Please wake up and do something. We cannot continue to have young people just seated at the betting centers watching virtual games. And at night, they want to eat good food. During lunchtime, they want to eat meat. Where do they get money from? They end up robbing us, who are working hard to see that we get something. And so for us to get rid of criminality, or the criminal cases that we always register in the city, we should begin looking at those isolated cases that we do have in a rural city. And then we shall get rid of these criminal gangs that are being created here in the city. All right, Makerere drops the 4 places in African university ranking. There's something wrong with Makerere University. I think if they have decided to drop in ranking, then there's a very big problem. And I believe that the university, administration will be able to sit down and look into some of the reasons. In February 2023, Makerere University had been ranked 13th best among Africa's best universities and topmost outside South Africa and Egypt, according to the Web Metrics rankings. But they have dropped the 4 places. Is also another thing that you need to know right there. All right, you have to know that 2 weeks ago, Molata was in a very big land saga, and government has decided to intervene in a Molata land saga right there. Nabanja, who is the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, in a communication to the leaders of the 2 districts on August 1st, 2023, called for a reconciliation meeting due to be held on Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, in an attempt to put the matter to rest. And so the reconciliation meeting will be tomorrow in Molata. This is something that you need to know in regards to the Molata land saga that saw residents armed with machetes and also clubs tried to protest and burning tires in the streets of Molata right there. And I believe that this will be that. Artificial intelligence could have time reading breast cancer scans study. This is what you need to know. The researchers say it will take 2 years before the trial can say whether using artificial intelligence leads to a reduction in what are called interval cancers. It is what you need to know. Is contraception way to go in battle against teenage pregnancy? And these are some of the issues that are being raised in regards to continuous teenage pregnancies that are being registered in our country, Uganda. And so some people are trying to they're opting for that is contraception, in which it is still a subject for discussion. Okay, how teenage pregnancies torment boys is also another thing that you need to know, that in instances where when the pregnancy involves an underage couple, many challenges arise, including pressure from the girl's family as well as finances. Are you aware that these boys who do impregnate these girls, they go through a lot of torture in their mind? These are some of the things that people have not been paying attention to, and I allow me to bring it to your attention right there for you. On the international scene, you have to know that the United Nations chief calls on Tunisia to end migrant expulsions. This is what you need to know. And so, quoting him, he says that we are deeply concerned about the expulsion of migrants, refugees and asylum seekers from Tunisia to the borders with Libya and also Algeria. Deputy spokesperson, that is Farah Hajj, said right there. Okay, Trump, a prosecutor, is a veteran on corruption, war crimes cases, is also another thing that you need to know, that in 2018, Thami Smith was named the chief prosecutor of the court, known as the
Kosovo, especially Chambers, is what you need to know. The legal who's of Donald Trump is also another big international story that you can really get to understand and read further. All right, dear viewer, thank you very much for being part of this particular show, KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. I am out of here. Good morning and thank you very much. Other programs will be following suit right here on Westnile Television. Up next will be the Ayola's Lugarati News, and also later on we shall be able to have the Business Bank with the Morris Ariko. My name is Denis Oringi. Good morning.